All right, everybody, I thought I would do a little update on the status of Truck Camper 8.0. As of the last video, I was prepping to put the roof skin on, and as you guys can see here, I have it on and I have it all trimmed up. I'm gonna go wide angle here. So just to recap a little bit from the last video, I was saying that I'm just going to use 18 gauge brad nails and an adhesive, specifically the Loctite PL3 construction adhesive. I was not going to use screws, and my rationale was I didn't want to dimple, I guess maybe that's the best way to say, the roof surface, because this is just a 1/4 inch ply on there, and if you start driving screws in, you could create little ripples and dimples. And I'm very pleased with how this roof went on. Of course, I've got 2 seams on the top. I'll correct those, but if you just look at this thing is super smooth. Turned out really nice, and I think the profile looks excellent. I'm very happy. I'm still finishing up some of the trim on the outside, but as you guys can see, it'll have a little bit of an overhang. That's about 3 1/4 inches, I believe, off the top of my head. You can just see how nice and smooth that roof turned out up there. And this thing will never come off. Screws are not necessary on this one. Total weight, as we sit right now, is at 280 pounds. Which is exceeding my expectations. The bulk of the weight of the camper is in place as we speak, but I do still have a fair amount of additional things to add. I'm gonna go ahead and make a prediction right now, and I think the overall weight of this when I'm done will probably be about 450 pounds. Which I think is a pretty darn good weight. Keep in mind, this is a mid-size camper. It's not a great big one. This is kind of more ideally suited for one person, or maybe perhaps a couple that doesn't mind sleeping pretty close. So, it is a smaller one. Got a couple things that's going to add some weight. Of course, I've got to put in the windows. The overall weight will include the weight of the AC unit and its associated housing, which will go on here. That'll probably be about 50 pounds unto itself. Of course, the window, and in the interior, all of the interior build out. Do you guys want to kind of get a rough layout of what I'm planning to do on the interior? Let's take a look. All right, so we're inside here. It's going to be a little echoey, and I do have it wide angle so you guys can get a sense of what's going on. I will say this, it's a little bit roomier in here than I had imagined now that I've got the roof on. Let's sit in the passenger side, or the driver's side rear corner here. So this will be the bed. It's just going to be a single bed. I'll do a little angle right here. The max width on this, I believe, will be 38 or 39 inches. So in a lot of ways, this will be probably one of the largest beds I've had. There will be no other sleeping area other than this area. Best suited for one person, but of course, if it was a couple, I think they could make it work on there. This right here is the cab over internal section. So this will be storage. And as you guys can see, I'll probably put either 1 or 2 little pull-off doors up there. I haven't made up my mind. But that is a pretty notable amount of storage, and it's real wide. The internal width in here will be 68 or 69 inches from wall to wall after I finish out the interior. So you guys are probably wondering, did I have a kindergartner come in here and draw on the walls? No. So all of the internal wall surfaces you see in here, with the exception of maybe the front face of some of these beams, some of the columns will all be covered up in one form or fashion. So this is not a cosmetic surface, pretty much the vast majority of everything you see here. What I did is 2 things in here to prep the interior. Number one is I coated the top of the ceiling there and all the walls in a couple coats of poly just to seal up the wood. And then I took some caulking, and this is probably not necessary, but it's just a peace of mind for me. And I went through and ran it across most of the joints, filling those in and these little circle dots here. Though I hand selected the boards for the skin of the camper to have the least amount of knots, or at least the knots being the most stable they can, I did on a lot of the knots take and put some caulking, just a little circle, and push it in place. Just that way, if they ever dry out and shrink up a little bit, hopefully that caulking will keep them sealed up and in place. Of course, we'll have a window there. All right, let's scoot over on this side. So in this corner, so this is the front driver's side corner, from about this point up, I'm going to have a cabinet that's floor to ceiling. And it's a little hard to describe here, but it'll have a pull down top, kind of like a secretary desk. That way, if you're sitting on the bed here, you can pull it down and you'll have a writing surface. And then, of course, there'll be some various storage inside the cabinet. This space on a lot of my campers, it would have been filled in across, but I'm just going to leave this open since this is a little bit of a smaller one. It'll give you a little bit more space inside. Coming over here, this is the driver's side window. I'll have a countertop that runs all the way across. There will be a drawer in here, and then on the top of this countertop in this back corner will be just a small little sink and one of my little faucets. A very simple water system. This is, again, a very simple, basic, minimalist camper. The little water tank will sit strapped down in this area right here. I like it. It's very easy to get it in and out when you want to fill it, and you don't have to, have the pump pull water from some far distance. Up in this corner, I found a little 8-inch vent that I'm going to put up there. It's among those 8-inch vents, the Max Air Fan one is real popular. But I found another branded one. I don't recall the name now. It was a brand that I don't remember. And I took the 8-inch Max Air vent fans. They're the little circle ones that you push open. They sound like a great idea, and they're largely fine, but they're a little loud. So I went ahead and took a chance and bought another brand, and I tested it, and it's a lot quieter. So I'm gonna use that one. I don't want to put any vent fan on the roof of this because I want to maintain the most aerodynamic profile I can. That last smart TV that was made for a kitchen, I'm thinking of actually putting it in that corner there too. And over here, this is where the AC will come through. Now all of this stuff inside here is subject to change. This is just kind of my initial plan, but I have thought about it quite a bit. One departure that I'm going to do that I haven't done in most is I'm actually going to sheathe a good chunk of these internal walls, which includes this entire wall, with cedar. So I'll have a cedar face on it, very much like the van does. I'm gonna plane down the cedar to about 3/8 of an inch to reduce weight, since it's just basically an internal cosmetic surface. But yeah, that's the general plan. And then underneath, you guys can see I have a pretty notable amount of storage underneath here. I have a couple ideas of how I want to lay things out, but essentially we'll have a little chemical toilet box that will be sealed. I'll have, and again, I'm going to kind of lay them out, but I might change the order as I move on. I'll have a big section for a power bank, which will be the main power supply for this camper. And then I'll have a little slide-in area for the fridge. And then, of course, there'll be some extra space. This little camper here will actually have a fair amount of space. I'm going to leave underneath this bench here pretty minimalistic. I'm not going to, other than creating a box for the chemical toilet, I'm not going to, create like a whole cabinet space. I'm going to kind of leave it open, a little bit of a minimalistic design. In the ceiling area here, I am going to put in the insulating panels covered in fabric, though I'm going to do I'll show you. It's going to be a little bit of a lighter colored fabric. So yeah, but I'm excited. I was just really pleased. I thought this camper just turned out really, really sleek looking. Getting these little angled portions on here that was a real challenge. And keep in mind, this is all rough. This will when I get the finish on this, guys, I think it's going to look top notch. Just for a little context and size, the space between these little angled portions here, this is the exact width of the top of my pickup truck, the top of the cab. So you can see, you know, this will be smooth with the edge of the truck cab, and then the cab will angle up right in this area here. But you can see it's going to be pretty minimal. So this is going to have a pretty low profile, largely matching that of the pickup truck. It will stick above the cab of the pickup truck, you know, about 20 inches at the highest point. But with that nice sweeping angle there, I think it's going to be very gradual. I think it's going to be a really, really unique looking camper. I'm not sure I've seen any that are quite like this. So, but yeah, guys, just wanted to share with you how this looked. Let me know what you guys think. And I appreciate everybody's comments and all of those that follow along. And hope you're all doing well. One final thing, if you guys are wondering how I'm going to do the surface of this roof, this is pretty thin plywood, and though it's actually a lot stronger than I imagined, I hate working with fiberglass, but I am going to lay at least one layer of matte on top, fiberglass matte on top of that, and then a gel coat with wax coating to provide the final cosmetic and waterproof surface. Later this week, where I'm at, it's supposed to get up into the mid to high 70s, which will be just about the ideal temp to lay some glass. And I hate doing it, but that'll probably be my least favorite part of the project here. But I'll get that laid up, and that'll make that roof surface a little bit more rigid. It doesn't have any impact on the strength of the camper, but it will make it rigid in terms if you're pushing down on it a little bit, and of course it'll provide a nice waterproof layer. So thanks again, guys. Have a good weekend.